Hey guys, Ziv here. Lately I've been using more and more AIs and I've been thinking, should I run them locally on my PC or should I start subscribing to all these different AI cloud services basically, like ChatGPT or Midjourney or whatever to fulfill all my AI needs? So I've had a deep think about it and I'm going to give you my results, also a few real world run throughs of how my PC handles running AIs locally so that you can kind of see if it's worth the investment. So it really comes down to time versus money. Now, with AI that is cloud based, so you're not running it on your computer, you're interfacing with it on a web browser and you're paying a subscription for it. That is super fast. It is really powerful. Usually, you get the latest AI technology, whereas if you download AIs from Hugging Face or whatever, they're a bit older or they're not like at the moment, mid 2025, you can get Gemini 2.5 Pro, whereas Google's free one is Gemma. So it's a different AI model completely. It's been trained in the same way and stuff like that, they say. There's a couple that are exactly the same, like DeepSeek. You go online or you download it because it's completely open source, but most of them you're not going to get as good an AI if you're running it for free. And some you can't even get, like Midjourney. You wouldn't be able to get that at all. You'd have to find something that you could run on Stable Diffusion or whatever. Anyway, it's super easy to use with the interfaces. There's no setting it up on your PC, GitHub repositories, all these sorts of things that you've got to download and install and get running on your PC. So tech-wise, it's really easy to use. And you don't need much tech. Like, you could run the most powerful AIs off just your phone, right? You can access the app and off you go. If you're out and about traveling, you could take a little laptop and it will do all the AI compute offline. You could even shut it down while you set the task and it will start running things for you. So there's a lot of benefits to having a few subscriptions to a few different AIs, and also a few downsides. They're not as sustainable. A lot of these big data centers are not on the cleanest grids. Efficacy wise, they can do a lot with your personal information. You don't know exactly what's happening with it, all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, a few downsides to subscribing. The other one is obviously money. It's going to be an ongoing cost and the price just keeps going up as well. So it is pretty expensive. Now, running locally, it's private, it's pretty sustainable. I've got solar panels and a battery, so I could use clean energy all the time. It wouldn't matter how much energy the AI used. It would be pretty clean. It's private. It's pretty cheap. Even if you are upgrading your hardware every couple of years when a new GPU, consumer GPU comes out. At the moment, I've got a RTX 4080. It has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. At the moment, just running this little stream or whatever, I'm using a bit of 20% processing power to do the screencast and then separately run the camera. But yeah, that's what I've sort of got. I've got a i9 13900K, so not a bad CPU. And then for my RAM, I've got, it might be easier to see on here we go, DDR5, 32 gigabytes, 24 megahertz. So, it's a mid-range PC as of right now. I mean, there's the 5090 or the 5080 GPU out right now. I've got 16 gigabytes of VRAM, so yeah, is what it is. Not saying it's the best, not saying it's the worst, not complaining or anything, just telling you what I have so that when we do some tests, you can see. So if I was to upgrade that hardware right now to a 5090 with 32 gigs of VRAM and say 64 gigs of fast RAM and a few bigger solid state drives to host everything, I'd be looking at $7,000 Australian, and I'd probably get 2.5, something like that, back from PC I'm currently running. So I'd be looking at, $5,000, $4,000, I reckon, to upgrade it, which I'm not going to do right now. I don't have that sort of money, so that's factoring in on my decision. And it's also a larger learning curve with getting everything set up. I mean, I do have a few basic ones set up at the moment because I'm obviously interested in AI, and I think it's handy to have the knowledge. So I'm not saying the learning curve is bad, and I do like the idea of having it offline. So if there's like a war, or the US goes pear-shaped and all these companies hold all their AI resources, at least I've got some AI compute power here, which I think is going to be important for if you have a geopolitical instability, that you can have some decentralized, computing power out there. Anyway, weird thoughts, but these are all things that are factoring in with my decision. So let's give it a go. I'm gonna show you LM Studio. I'll keep it as similar as possible. So I'll load in Gemini 3 that was trained on 27 billion parameters. Now, context size, this will use up a whole bunch of my VRAM as well, but basically this model is about 16 gigs, so that'll fill up my VRAM, but I'll do some GPU offloading onto my other RAM. But I don't need a huge context window just to show you guys this, so I'll keep it to 10,000. That's going to give me heaps of text to give it to you. And the rest I'll just leave for now. I won't go into too much detail, so I'll load the model, and here you'll see the GPU should start to load up the memory as more of the model gets loaded into it. I haven't started a task yet, so this is just the baseline running at the moment. And we're full. We've got our full 16 gigabytes up. The whole model is in my VRAM. And that's why I'm recording with no background on my image at the moment, because that would use up even more of my VRAM. I might show you that right now. For example, let's say I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast, and I've got my GPU. This is just the standard picture, and I'm also recording the screen. These are the resources I'm using right now. But as soon as I switch on a virtual background, now this is a pretty good virtual background, I guess. Like you can see on my headphones, it's cutting it pretty much all out. Back of my chair. Anyway, that's already using up 60%, a good 60% of my GPU power on the same resources that the AIs will use. So I can't then easily record a screen while I'm using the AIs because it's using so many resources already, and would make my AI go really slow. That's why I've recorded in standard video. Straight away, drop straight down. So you can see how quickly you would be able to use up all your resources on your PC. Really, you can only do one AI-enabled task at a time, unless you have a lot of hardware resources. So I've got the model loaded up. I'll grab a little. I always do my prompts in a notepad. So I'll grab this prompt. Basically, it's this video. Just doing a cost analysis on whether it's better to run your AIs locally or not, and I'll grab the whole thing. It is 4,145 characters. I'll copy that and I'll start a new chat. I'll paste it in. So I've got the whole thing. Input tokens, it actually didn't use the full 4,000. So yeah, and then I'll give it a head start. So here we go, it'll run. So now on our stats, we should see my GPU starting to work. My RAM is also way fuller because some of the context and everything, yeah, as soon as I put it in, it went up. It's filling the RAM because my GPU memory is full. Yeah, my CPU is maxed out as well because not everything is in my GPU, loaded into my GPU. It's between this memory and the GPU memory. So, but I'm basically maxed out running this prompt, right? My computer is working as hard as it can. And it's doing a good job. Anyway, it's had a head start. Now let's go into the same thing, Gemini Flash 2.5. I'll go a bit extra and I'll run deep research. And I'll paste the same prompt in. So it's in here. And I'll press go. Now it's probably going to want, because I'm running deep research, it's probably going to ask me some follow-up questions. Let's see how good my initial prompt is. If it's really good, it shouldn't ask me too many. And yeah, this is basically live, running the two things. It hasn't asked me any questions, so yep, start research. Great. Now this, with the research, will probably give me better data, like the costs of various PC components. It'll find those online. But yeah, here it's finding everything. Anyway, the cool thing about doing stuff online is I could now, while it's running that, I could get up, say, my Discord and do like some image upscaling, right? So if I get this image, he's not shouting angrily here, but this used to be a hard one to achieve, you know, the double thumbs down or a thumbs down. He's not shouting, but I misspelled shouting. And let's say I want to upscale this one. So I can do that, no problems, while the other AI is running, you know, while this is going. Whereas if I was to pull up an upscaler here, what do I have? I've got Topaz that runs locally. Let's pull out a recent upscale. This one was for my kids. Let's do a, is there a retexture? Let's go max creativity. I haven't played around with this too much. And what does it have? It's a 4 times upscale with a retexture set up max. I'm not even going to try, I reckon, because I'm still, but we'll try it after. So this came up instantly. Let's do another upscale, subtle upscale. This is your big upscale in Midjourney, so this will give me a very high resolution image. But yeah, it got all the fingers correct. This is a pretty good image for the double thumbs down. Yeah, I'm doing all this concurrently. Let's see where we're at with, oh, yeah, it's still going. I thought it was done. And how's our performance going? CPU is still full, memory. GPU is actually right down. I don't know why it's offloaded so much to the CPU. Maybe with this going, maybe let's try do this retexture. Export one image. Let's see how we go here. All right. It's definitely ramped up the GPU. Don't know what's happened to the CPU. Anyway, weird stuff's happening. I reckon it has stopped doing this because this has guardrails, right? I did set some guardrails when you go into hardware here. There's some guardrails, right? I don't have strict, but moderate precautions against system overload. So it may have just gone, no, not dealing with that, because you've got too much going on. Anyway, is this really just frozen on me? It got like one page down. Let's see where we are. Maybe I can cancel this job. Yeah, let's just go cancel that. It's not going to do it. You could see it only just started it really. I reckon I'll. Oh, here we go. It's flying up again. Great. All right. So you can see it's not feasible to run multiple AIs at the same time. Whereas my other tasks, this is done. High resolution image, and this job is done. Now on our other job, we have got a result as well. We're done. This is thinking, and this is the result. What have we got here? Based on a holistic assessment of the financial outlay, time investment, and operational efficiency, the cloud-based AI subscription scenario is the clear winner for a business owner prioritizing productivity and minimizing technical overhead. While the cumulative monetary costs may be higher over 6 years, the significant time savings derived from eliminating hardware management, coupled with the flexibility of predictable operational expenses, translate into superior overall value. This approach allows the user to dedicate more time to content creation and business growth, directly aligning with their primary objective for maximizing productivity and reducing time spent on technical setup and maintenance. And yeah, it goes into it pretty in depth. Job's done. I mean, is the other, and I've done an image upscale, 2 image upscales. Oh, it's found the stop token. So it's found the end of the. All right, way less output. Winner, case 2, cloud-based AI subscription is more cost effective and time efficient over 6 year period. While initial costs are higher, the reduced maintenance, learning curve, and scalability outweigh the hardware investment. So basically the same result, which I guess is to be expected. We both use Google, and while this one's not connected to the internet, it looks like total cost 17 grand with 3 upgrades and rough similar outlays. Let's see how close it is to the other one. Cumulative net cost. Because this one's not factoring in purchasing another one. Because it minuses that. So yeah, 13K is our outlay compared to 17K. I mean, the results are pretty similar. So running locally still gives you a pretty good result. If anything, this one's probably conservative because it had less data, but it breaks it down for you pretty good. So this is actually a lot less information, probably because it didn't run deep research and get a lot of information on the internet. Typically, you would then eject this model, which will give us some performance back here. So our memories drop down, GPU memories drop down. Now we can do this. Change the setting, save. There we go. So finish the one product. Additionally, to run an upscale, it will take me a little bit of time. You can see it's ramped up the GPU usage again. Hasn't needed any CPU for this task. Now it's really trucking along. Doing this upscale. It saved it and it's fully retextured. This Lego dude. Not the greatest result, but just with the eye, something went wrong. But everything else, I mean, it looks pretty cool. So it actually didn't take too long to do that. I mean, it was only a 4x upscale, which I think is similar to the Midjourney one. It probably took the same as Midjourney, actually. So yeah, that shows you that you can get similar results. So in conclusion, you saw that it's all possible with pretty good results running it locally, running AIs locally, but it was way faster running it on a cloud-based AI. Also, don't need that massive learning curve. Like, let's say I want to run PyTorch with CUDA, I'd need to learn all of that as a framework for running AIs on my PC. The decoding, the troubleshooting, all of that, multiple downloads, loading AI models into my GPU, VRAM, all of that, it all takes time. And yes, while it makes you more resilient, you're using sustainable energy sources. It's not the purpose of what I'm trying to use AI for, is really minimize the amount of time I need to take to do a task. So I'm going to stick with a subscription-based model for now. In the background, I'm going to keep learning and developing my local AI skills. And maybe one day when I'm rich, I can afford having multiple GPUs or something like that, or a really big GPU, and I can play around with AI further, running it locally. I'll still use it for some tasks locally, like upscalers and small, simple standalone programs that are easy to use. I don't mind this the LM Studio. It's pretty good. I can give it a task while I'm doing a different task, all of those sorts of things. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you've run AI successfully on your own computer, or if you have heaps and heaps of subscriptions now to different AIs and it's just being a financial burden on your hip pocket, I'd love to know, because moving forward, I might change my choice. So I hope this has helped somebody. If it has, leave us a like, and we might see you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Catch ya.